The bell above the diner door rang on a rain-soaked evening when hope felt thinner than the steam rising from cracked mugs of coffee, and that was the moment everything began to change. The waitress did not know it yet, but one quiet act of kindness was about to collide with a past wrapped in pain, pride, and secrets, turning an ordinary shift into a life-altering night that would echo far beyond chipped plates and tired smiles. If you believe that kindness still matters, that second chances can change lives, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel to support stories that remind us of our humanity. Her name was Sarah Whitmore, a 27-year-old waitress working at a small family-owned restaurant on the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio. The diner sat between a closed hardware store and a laundromat, surviving mostly on regulars and late-night truck drivers. Sarah worked double shifts 6 days a week, not because she loved the job, but because life had taught her early that dreams did not pay rent. After her mother passed away from a sudden illness, Sarah became the anchor for her younger brother, balancing grief, bills, and exhaustion with a quiet determination that rarely showed on her face. Her smile was practiced, gentle and tired, but real. That night, the rain had soaked through her shoes by the time a man entered the diner just before closing. He moved slowly, leaning heavily on a worn metal cane, his left leg dragging slightly behind him. His coat was frayed at the cuffs, his hair streaked with gray despite not looking very old, and his eyes carried the distant heaviness of someone who had seen too much and been forgotten by many. Some customers glanced at him briefly, then looked away, uncomfortable with the reminder that life could change without warning. Sarah noticed him immediately, not because he stood out, but because he looked like someone who had not been truly seen in a long time. She guided him to a corner booth near the window, where rain traced lines down the glass like quiet tears. He ordered the cheapest item on the menu, a plain bowl of soup, and asked for water instead of soda. Sarah nodded, already sensing the familiar weight of unspoken struggle. As she carried his soup back from the kitchen, Sarah remembered nights when she and her brother had shared a single can of beans, pretending it was a feast. Without hesitation, she added a warm roll, a small plate of mashed potatoes, and a slice of apple pie she knew would be thrown out at closing anyway. When she set the tray down, she did not make a show of it, did not expect gratitude or praise. She simply smiled and walked away, believing that sometimes dignity mattered more than rules. The man ate slowly, savoring each bite as if it were a gift, his hands trembling slightly. Sarah watched from a distance, wondering how many people had passed him by, how many doors had quietly closed. When it came time to settle the bill, she noticed him counting crumpled dollar bills with careful precision, his jaw tightening as he realized it was not enough. Before he could speak, Sarah gently told him the meal was covered, blaming a kitchen mistake and wishing him a good night. She turned away before he could see the moisture gathering in her eyes. What Sarah did not know was that the man, whose name was Michael Anderson, had once owned everything people dreamed of. Years earlier, Michael had built a nationwide chain of restaurants from a single food truck, pouring his life into the business until it became a multi-million-dollar empire. Then came a devastating car accident, followed by months of recovery, pain, and betrayal. While he lay in a hospital bed learning how to walk again, partners he trusted seized control, legally forcing him out. Lawsuits drained his savings, depression consumed his spirit, and pride kept him silent. He chose anonymity, moving from city to city, testing the world not for sympathy but for sincerity. Sarah was cleaning tables when she noticed Michael still sitting quietly, his eyes fixed on the rain. When he finally stood, struggling slightly, he turned toward the counter and asked for her name. She gave it, embarrassed by the attention. He thanked her not just for the food, but for treating him like a human being. His words were simple, but they carried a weight that lingered long after he left, the bell above the door ringing softly behind him. The next morning, the diner buzzed with confusion. The owner, Robert Hayes, paced the floor holding a letter with trembling hands. The restaurant, drowning in debt and weeks away from foreclosure, had received an unexpected offer overnight. A private investor wanted to purchase the building, clear all debts, and keep every employee on staff with better wages and benefits. The name at the bottom of the letter was Michael Anderson. When Michael returned later that day, no cane in sight but a steadiness in his posture that had been missing before, the truth unfolded quietly. He explained that he had spent years searching for a place, not to reclaim power, but to rediscover purpose. Sarah's kindness had reminded him why he started his business in the first place. He revealed that he was not just an investor, but the new owner of the restaurant, and that he intended to turn it into a place built on compassion, fairness, and second chances. Sarah felt the world tilt beneath her feet. The man she had served for free was a billionaire, now her employer, but more importantly, a mirror reflecting the power of empathy. Michael insisted she accept a management role, offering training and opportunities she never imagined. For the first time since her mother's death, Sarah allowed herself to believe that her life could be more than survival. Months passed, and the diner transformed into a thriving community hub. Employees smiled more freely, customers lingered longer, and stories of kindness spread beyond Columbus. Michael worked alongside the staff, never hiding his past, never forgetting his pain. Sarah used her position to create meal programs for those in need, honoring the moment that changed everything. As you reach this moment in the story, take a second to comment the word kindness, if you believe one small act can change a life. On a quiet evening, as Sarah locked up the diner, she looked around at the warm lights and familiar faces, realizing that hope did not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it came disguised as hunger, rain, and a man with a cane, and sometimes all it took was a free meal and a full heart to remind the world that humanity was still alive. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you to be a little kinder tomorrow, please like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to support more stories like this. Your engagement keeps these messages alive, and your kindness might just be someone else's miracle.